Hear your favorite NFL legends sharing their stories and insights every week right here on Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari. Take it away, guys.
There's no way out.
All right, now joining us here on Thursday Night Tailgate is former Falcons fullback Lynn Cain. Let me give you some background on Lynn. He is from Los Angeles, California, played his college ball at USC, where he helped the Trojans to 3 bowl victories, including the 1979 Rose Bowl over Michigan, getting them a share of the national championship that season, according to the UPI poll. He was a 4th-round draft pick, number 100 overall in 1979 by the Atlanta Falcons, and he played here in Atlanta from 79 to 1984. He played his last season back home in L.A. for the Rams. Over the course of his NFL career, he rushed for just over 2,300 yards and nearly 1,100 receiving yards, and he scored 25 touchdowns. The local Atlanta Journal and Constitution named Lynn one of the top 50 Falcons of all time, and we're excited that he is joining us tonight here on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Lynn, Chris and Bob here. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Lynn.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Fantastic, Lynn. Lynn, I want to start our time with you tonight by going back to your time in college at USC. And I'm curious, as a kid from L.A., was USC the place you always dreamed of playing? Was there ever a doubt that that's where you're going to play your college ball, or were there other schools coming after you?
I had a fun time. My family moved from Picayune, Mississippi. We moved out to California. When I was born, the high school band played in the Rose Bowl. So when we moved to Los Angeles, watching USC football was the thing. It was everyone pretty much in our family wanted to sit down and watch and see what the Trojans were doing. So playing in the Rose Bowl, being a part of USC just became something infectious in my life and in the family life. And who would think that so many years later, after playing at East Los Angeles Community College, winning the MVP, going to the state championship, and all those accolades, that dream would come true to go to the University of Southern California. So, yeah, it was something. The funny thing is, one night my brother, we were roommates, and I'm sleeping, and he's tugging on me saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I wake up and I'm like, what's going on? He said, you're talking in your sleep. And I said, well, what am I saying? He said, you're saying, have I scored a touchdown yet? Am I on the 1-yard line? So football was something that I dreamt about. And it was a lot of fun. And I got an opportunity to go to USC.
And Lynn, you guys are celebrating the 40th anniversary of that 1978 team that won the UPI National Championship. You guys played Alabama, who the AP gave it to. You guys played Alabama that season in Birmingham, and you beat them there. You're shaking your head like, how could have anybody given a share of the national championship to Alabama when you beat them head up?
Head up, boy, and that was a fun game. We had a fun time going there to play against them, and I could see it. I still watch some of that video, and it's a lot of fun to go back and the memories of it. And you're right. By the end of the season, we was right there, and the talk was national championship coming down to that last Michigan game, and it was surprising to find out that we had split after we beat them there in their home, on their home field.
Right.
Yeah.
And Lynn, I want to get your thoughts on USC today, right? Struggled a little bit over the last few seasons, 2-2 right now, heading into this weekend's game at Arizona. How do you feel about the direction that USC is going in? It's a lot of fun watching them play. They have a ton of talent. That quarterback is something to be a freshman, and the way he's releasing the ball. He's got a quick release. He's got a strong arm. He can throw the ball in all those areas that are the hot points that you want a quarterback to be able to throw the ball. And he's just a lot of fun watching. And his talent. And so SC, at this point, they just seem to be missing timing. I guess you want to say timing. Their defense had a tough one
trying to stop Washington State. But, you going into playing in Washington State, you just had to, in preparing for that team, you have to prepare for Washington State knowing that they got a quarterback, they got some receivers, they're going to have an offense that's going to move the ball. And, and it became a shootout for them, and came down to the last play. So blocking a field goal, I believe, to tie the game. And it just, SC is, I think they're going to be all right. I know Coach Helton has always prepped those guys that it's about winning the Pac-10, but the Pac-12 here, Pac-10, thinking about when I played, the Pac-12 championship. And so I think SC is going to be all right, but I'm concerned that there's a pattern that they're showing, slow to play at the beginning of the year, and then they come on and like gangbusters and play well at the end of the season. So hopefully they can turn that around, that they start the season on a bang.
Bob, questions for Lynn?
Welcome to the show, Lynn, and it's a pleasure to have you. And I want to take you back to your days at Roosevelt High School. And I guess before you, Lynn, the most famous Roosevelt guy was Mike Garrett, and you followed him to USC. I think he was about 10, 12 years older than you. Was he an early idol of you, Lynn? And did you get to spend some quality time with him as your careers intertwined a little bit?
You touch on a very dynamic, a very good question. That's a powerful question you're asking, because it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you saw the Batman movie. I think it was the third one, where Bruce Wayne climbs up out of the canyon, down there from the prison. And there was one person that succeeded before him, and it was a child. And that scene of climbing up out of there, and him realizing that he had to take the rope off and leap towards the other side and grab a hold of the ledge and then climb himself up, and a child had done it before him. That's what I see with Mike Garrett and others that left Boyle Heights, Roosevelt. It was something that inspired me. Mike did it. Oh, Mike did it? Yeah, Mike made it. Wow. Then what do I need to do to make it? Do I need to make that leap of faith also? And so that movie has been a very premier point in my life of what happened to me, because I made the same kind of leap with those guys. And when I say that, man, I'm talking about the training part, the running, the lifting of weights, the dedicating yourself to practicing and working out, doing it when no one else wanted to do it, doing it when you were sore, cloudy days or whatever. I made a commitment, and it happened. I leaped out of high school and went to East LA College. And then from East LA College, I had the opportunity to go over and go to spring ball at SC. And would you believe I went and knocked on the big green gate that they had at that time, and they refused to let me come in and watch practice. That was back in May and June. I couldn't come and watch practice. Said, no, Cain, you can't come in. Oh, man. So I went home and I was dejected. But who would think 7 months later, the recruiter would be standing next to me saying, we're coming to recruit you. What? Yeah, you're coming to recruit you. And then to go back to that same green gate, and the guy who turned me away is the same person that said, come on in, Mr. Cain. John McKay's right here on his card. And then enter into the gate. So it was fun. It was a dream of mine, and it happened, fellas.
And Lynn, you that rookie year, you came in and playing for Lehman Bennett. The team was 6-10. That following year, you blossomed, and at the same time, the team blossomed. They had guys like Barkowski, William Andrews, but when you came into your own in '80, the team made a 6-game improvement. What are the reasons why that team got so good so fast? There's
a Bear Bryant poem that's what is the price of success? Success is to it's a way that you concentrate. It's a concentration that you must dedicate yourself towards concentrating It's a dedication that you make towards the constant application of ambition. You know, and that's what I think of is, you know, like one Wallace Francis, wide receiver. He always says, Cain, when you came to the Falcons, you came with that Trojan dedication, that Trojan skill, and to practice and practice hard, and you know what it took to be a winner, you know, and that's one of the things that they pressed us there at SC. We worked hard. We worked hard every day to maximize our potential, and so that's what. And I remember pushing ourselves to maximize our potential. And you're talking about Charles White, Marcus Allen, Ricky Bell, Ronnie Lott, Dennis Thurman. We had some incredible Vince Evans. I mean, all these guys. They were willing to pass it on to the other person. By the time I got to the Falcons, we had won in Pop Warner. We had won, almost went undefeated in Pop Warner. You know, so the winning started way down there. By the time I got to high school, I won a championship on the B team. By the time I got to East LA College, we won the state championship. Then I went to USC, and that mindset was still the same. And so we wound up winning, going to several bowl games. But then we won the national championship at my last year. We go to the Falcons, and my second year, I began to I got injured, but I was rehabbing, and I stayed there. And there was remember the in 1980 they had the hockey team, and I would go back and watch the hockey team, and I watched it from the beginning to the end. And remember the chant they had, USA, USA. So you had a few people chanting USA. By the middle, it was more people chanting USA, USA. And then by the end, man, I was rocking like everybody else was with that hockey team. And it carried over, fellas, into the season. It propelled me through the summer, into the season. And the next thing I was thinking was Super Bowl, Super Bowl. We were 2 games away from going to the Super Bowl. And my motivation was hinged on my off-season training program that propelled me with the hockey team that we can win. If they can win, those guys that were considered small, they were not as good as the Russian team, they were not as good as all the other teams. If they can do it, surely I can do it. 2 games away from going. And when we lost that game to Dallas, oh man, what a letdown. It was, oh man, it just sunk. And it's been so impactful that, remember when the Falcons just recently went to the Super Bowl, and the way they lost, I felt like I was going through the same experience for the second time.
Wow.
You know, it felt like that rush. All of a sudden you're in the lead, and you're thinking, we got this. We got this. And then for them to come back like that and beat you, man, it's like ripping your heart out. So, but that was what inspired me, gentlemen, for the off season, inspired me into the season of 1980, and I was on a mission to do whatever I could to help propel us to the point where we can play in the Super Bowl. And the crazy thing about it, gentlemen, the fun thing about it, I should say, the fun thing about it is that when I started thinking about, we could play the next week, we'll play Philadelphia. Philadelphia was the next team that we had to play. We beat them 14-7 during the season. And so we beat Dallas, we go and play Philadelphia. We play Philadelphia, we beat them. Then we play the Raiders for the championship. Well, there was a player on that team that played with me when we won the state championship at East Los Angeles College, and that was Mike Davis. So I was like licking my chops. So I was I got an opportunity to go play against a friend, and he was safety, and I was running back. Man, let's do this. Let's have some fun.
Lynn, just a couple of more before we let you go. And as I was looking back over your game logs when you were with the Falcons, and you played, a lot of fullback, paving the way for William Andrews and Gerald Riggs. But in 1984, you guys go out to L.A. to play the Rams. You get to carry the ball 35 times for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns, 30 to 28 wins. So talk about that game. It had to be a huge thrill to go do that in L.A.
Chris, you're doing your homework, my man. You're doing your homework. I tell you, you know, that was another, fellas. Here's the thing: is we go out now. Think about this. The Falcons kept me for insurance. I was insurance in case William Andrews and Gerald Riggs was injured. Well, Lord and behold, who would think that time? And I was basically sitting on the bench, and Gerald was playing, and William got injured, so Gerald was playing. And Gerald, when we were out there in Los Angeles, now I was practicing the whole time, second, third string, you know, and then all of a sudden Gerald walks up and he taps me on the shoulder and he says, "I can't play." And I'm like, "Gerald, you kidding me? You got to be kidding. No, I can't go." "You can't go?" So this is going to be my first game to play? And then, what's his name, Dan Henney comes over and says, "Lynn, you're starting." Okay. Man, it must have been 90 degrees out there. I tell you what, wow. And I had a great, once again, we go back to me, the preparation of you happens either in practice or during your off season, whatever you do. And I ran condition real hard that off season, and I was in tip top shape. And then the other thing is, when I did practice, I practiced as if I was going to play. So when I went into that game, it's 90 degrees. They're giving me the ball, and it just so happened that the Rams were slow starters. And then I broke off tackle, and when I saw the opening, I burst, and because we did a lot of fartlek training, so I burst through there. Boom, I'm in the secondary, and it's a foot race, baby. It's the foot race to the end zone, and I get there. Whoo, touchdown. And, you know, before we know it, we jumped on the Rams real quick. Second half, they wound up playing a little stronger, but they wound up losing to us. I scored 3 touchdowns, and like you said, 40 yards, 36 yards game. And here it is, and we beat the Rams in Los Angeles for the first time in the history of the franchise. Man, what a game. And I had a great time. Now, here's where the joy came into it. My mother, the week before, says, it was during 2 months before, she says, "Lynn, I want to go to the Promised Land." So I paid for her to go to the Promised Land. And when we were playing that game, she was flying back from the Promised Land. I believe the game was played, I think it was somewhere around October 14th. My birthday is October 16th. My mother's is October 14th. So I was celebrating her birthday and getting ready to celebrate my birthday, and had a heck of a game, fellas.
What a fantastic memory. That's great stuff, Lynn. Lynn, there's so many other things that we wanted to get into with you tonight. Unfortunately, just don't have enough time. Well, I hope you'll come back and join us again sometime real soon. Talk about more of the great memories that you've got from the games that you had an opportunity to play in, both for USC, maybe a little bit more on the Falcons, and then your season back with LA playing for the Rams. But it's been so great having you as part of the show tonight.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I really enjoyed sharing these stories with you guys.
We appreciate it, Lynn. Take care. All the best to you and your family. We look forward to getting you back on the show again real soon, Lynn.
Thank you. Okay.
Take care.
That is former Falcons and USC fullback Lynn Cain. Bob, I mean, there's so many other things to get into with Lynn about, his time, more about his time with the Falcons and, playing alongside our good friend Steve Bartkowski and then, getting an opportunity to go back in '85 to play with the Rams alongside a guy he played at USC with, who's, Charles White. So hopefully we get the opportunity to get Lynn back on the show, as soon as we can.
Yeah, just scratched the surface, Chris. That Steve Bartkowski was on my list of things to ask him. He caught 55 balls from him in 81, Chris. That's incredible. Lynn Cain out of the backfield. So, yeah, great pedigree and great guest, and love guys who talk like he can.